first person to know. Like,
I don't know if
you're
I've
the
ever.
first person to go if you're not actually making money in business, client business. So I had to really dig deep. And I didn't know what I was doing, like 2018. I didn't really know, but I just knew that I had to actually make the client money or I was about to lose my job.
How to do it. That would go.
Yep. So that's how I actually got into the data and just becoming more into this data and just learning more about different customer avatars and stuff like that.
Is it something that like you ended up loving, or was it more so if I don't get this done, I'm gonna lose my job?
There's both. I think also in survival, like it's like we don't like going to work, but we know we gotta go to work. And sometimes depending on what type of job you have, I don't love every part of my business, but I know it works.
Yeah.
All things work together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pro who I think that it was a little bit of both, but I actually love reading data, to be completely honest. And at the beginning parts of it, I probably didn't understand what I was doing, but just sometimes I don't even know how did I get this smart, but I think it's just like
Wow.
praying and asking God to give me wisdom because I'd be like, how did I even know to even do this thing?
Now you struck a nerve. I like what you said. I don't know how I got this smart, but maybe it was praying and asking God for wisdom. What makes you feel that prayer actually would work? I believe it works, but what makes you think that it would work or it does work?
In the beginning part of my business, I remember our pastor had us decreeing something crazy. Something crazy to me then it was like wealth and riches is in this house. And I was just like, this is crazy. And I don't even know, how I'm gonna even get wealthy because I'm on food stamps right now.
Yeah.
I remember in the Bible where they say that he asked for wisdom, Paul asked for wisdom, and God gave it to him. And it was like those were the things that I was actually asking God for when I started getting into funnels and data and stuff. I was just like, God, give me an idea that's gonna make me money over and over again.
Ooh. Do you find, I'm pretty sure you've run into this as a believer, do you find that believers are scared to ask God something like that? Because like money, it's not money's evil, it's the love of money. But do you find it hard for believers to actually pray something like that?
Maybe I think there are some prayers that I was scared to pray.
What?
I don't know, maybe even the wealth and riches, like that left an impact on my faith. Like I feel like that shifted my faith because I never thought about being wealthy in that type of manner. I was just trying to get to the next moment or get to the next year. But now I understand it's bigger than that and it's a longer game. But before, I was scared to pray that prayer or decree that thing over my life, to be honest. I think that anything that doesn't feel good, you could be definitely afraid to say or pray because in the comfortability and you gotta actually switch your mind to believe that as well.
Yeah. That's the challenge, I believe, with believers or people in general. Asking God for more may require a new mindset, or it's going to require a new mindset and things like that. So, what was Alyssa doing before she became the marketing mentor, the marketing beast?
What was I doing? Making I was working at Amazon and I was like, I worked in the outbound, I think I worked in inbound because we used to scan stuff in. I worked in inbound as a problem solver. So basically, like, I would fix all the technical issues with the UPCs and stuff like that. Yeah.
So you had some form of seeing systems on a daily basis, then, right?
Yeah, like Amazon was definitely like an eye opener to like how business ran for me. But I always was a hustler. Like I worked at Foot Locker
There
for
we go.
years. Where else did I work at? I worked at Foot Locker like most of my life. I didn't really have a job like that. I haven't had a job since I was like 21. Hey, I don't know how to act in the workforce. And I always had like little jobs like that. But Amazon was probably like my job where I realized this will never afford me the life that God promised to me.
How did you say that and actually mean it? Because it's one thing to testify it in church when everybody's hot, but how did you say that and was like, I'm going to make a move?
Oh, I was just driving home. So I work. So because I got crazy shifts, I work from, I want to say 6 to 7 p.m. to like 4 in the morning. And I work
Wow.
5 days through Monday. You get the extra money on the weekends and overnight. And I was like, I think my check was like $900 or something. I'm like, I couldn't even go to Miami with this. Yeah. And I had just started like getting back into God and it just being in ministry and stuff like that. And I was just like, this is not what Jesus died on the cross for.
No.
I legit remember being like driving home and was just like, this is not it. Like, 900, because I feel like I remember like working overtime to make money. And I was just like, yeah.
Now, with all of that and those changes and that epiphany, what drove you back to God?
What drove me back to that? I had my daughter when I was 21. I was pregnant when I was 20, had my daughter when I was 21. And I just knew like it was more purpose in it. Like I always understood God as a bigger thing, like a bigger person than me. But I was just like, if I'm gonna read this Bible, in this Bible, I'm gonna be going to church, it gotta work for me in some way. I'm the type of person like I'm gonna either do it or I'm not gonna do it. Like I gotta be committed to it and I need to see all the fruits of it. And if not, I'm just not gonna do the thing.
I like that. So how did you survive? Or maybe it was different for you. How did you survive business starting off? Because like most businesses don't start off making.
It's true. Yeah. It literally was like, you know how they say you just do the thing and stuff will just start happening. I remember investing, like I was in the gym one night and I remember investing like my last $250 into a business coach. This was internet, they call it digital marketing now, but back then we used to call it internet marketing. And I invested my last $250 into a business coach here in Philly. And she was like, I like you. Like, I'm a mentor you. And from that, her coach took me under his wing,
Wow.
flew me out to Cali one day. I started like getting into sales funnels, learning sales funnel. First time in Cali, it just was like everything that I ever like needed to start a business was like being like handed to me.
Wow.
And I never knew, no, like I know people like I never knew a successful business owner, if that makes sense. Like I've seen different things, but my one friend, shout out to my girlfriend Genesis Dorsey, we started ministry together, Girls of Royalty, and
Mm.
I came in on like the social media side. And for whatever reason, like her parents owned a private school and that like really just planted a seed in me. And they owned the church, they were pastor. And for whatever reason, I just had this idea that I could start doing social media management. And I was like, okay, I'm leaving Amazon, I'm being a social media manager.
Wow. Before it was popular.
Before it was popular. Yeah, like 2017, 18. And then once people started being able to buy followers, that's how I got into the sales funnel.
Ah. So the pathway was you get to Amazon, you come back to God, you believe that you're going to be able to do more, you get exposed to more. But what made you actually pull the trigger on the business coach? Because back then, everything on the internet was sketchy. Having the internet itself used to be sketchy.
Yeah, my friend, she was like, "Yeah, my cousin, I think she helped people with it." It was just like it lined up so much, like everything just was lining up. And it was like I've never been a person that's afraid to do a thing.
Mhm.
So if somebody told me to do this thing, I went and did it. It's just all lined up.
Where did that come from?
I've always been like rebellious. Like if everybody, I remember I was telling my mom, we was in dinner the other day. I was like, I remember being like, everybody, all Black people do is eat chicken. I'm stopping eating chicken. I remember you being rebellious like that growing up. When I was 9 years old, I started taking myself to church.
Tell me about that.
I grew up. So when I was younger, I went to church with my grandmother. I'ma just say from up until I was like 7 or 8 years old, and she had a stroke.
Mm.
in 1998. My dad family lived on the other side, but my grandmother, she was paralyzed on her one side, so she never got her life back.
Wow.
And I lived in the other side of town with my mom and my stepdad, and I started wanting to go to church at 9 years old.
Wow.
So I used to catch the bus. It was one bus that used to take me right up to, let's just say we lived on 5th. I got off at 19, and I started going to church on my own.
You would walk from
No, I be on the bus.
no, when you got off the bus, when you
Oh,
got
yeah.
off at the stop, you would walk a while.
Yeah, 2 blocks, like 2 blocks. It wasn't, but it's
Mm.
normal here in Philly. You just jump on the bus
At 9 years old, though.
at 9 years old. I was hungry for God at a young age.
So maybe it wasn't you being rebellious. Maybe it was you being or getting into an alignment with what you were meant to do.
I think maybe
A little wolf.
both.
You got to be good at something. You got to be somewhat rebellious or a little bit of crazy. We're both with us now. How I came across your social media platform from Threads, and I just went down the rabbit hole, and I was like, she has so much life in her content. Like it's, usually we just see somebody just always, it's so mundane. And I was like, I think she's just being her.
Yeah.
With doing this. How do you have the confidence to do that?
I don't know, to be honest. It's really hard for me to do something that I don't like. So it's like I have to just be myself or it doesn't feel good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Was that how it always was, or did that just come recently?
No, this is always how I've been. Like rebellious, stick out, just show up as me or more authentically. I know it's like a marketing play right now, right? But I've always showed up like this. This is what attracts clients to me, high paying clients to me, low paying clients to me. Just showing up and being myself.
And it's a lot easier.
Oh yeah.
Even yeah, you don't have to fake anything or put on anything. Now, let's say hypothetically speaking, you weren't a marketing mentor, you weren't in marketing. What else would you do if you had the option?
I've always been like a connector to people. So I don't know if maybe it would be like in a nonprofit field or something like that.
Mm.
Always been a connector in terms of connecting with people. I can connect with any person. Like it's just a gift of mine.
What do you think? How does God use that in ministry for you?
I think that how some people be like, I was called to preach. I really believe that I was called to marketplace.
Yeah.
And I believe that just showing up as myself and truly like outside of loving God and being myself, like going through and just being real, I just think that's why God has chosen me just for that exact moment.
And like you said, we still back in the day, people would still always feel that the only calling you could have was to preach. And I used to always get in trouble by saying, if we all become preachers, who's gonna do businesses and things like that? Like I'm pretty sure he didn't skip not wanting us there. Did you find that to be a wrestle with like maybe your peers when you were like, I'm called to the marketplace. Y'all can maybe preach, but I'm called to the marketplace.
No, I feel like this just recently came through to me, just came up for me maybe within the last 6 months or so. So it's new to me and like accepting it. And I don't want to say because I haven't not accepted it, but I think it's more, maybe I'm noticing it more. Dang, it be divine moments all the time, like on discovery calls, when it's self calls, somebody sharing with me something that they're going through. And it's a prayer that I pray though. It's no, it definitely just happened, but I asked God to let me be a light in this world. Shine your light through me. So I don't think it just happened by happenstance. I actually want God to use me.
Why do you do that?
Why not? Why not? Why they marketing is just a tool or avenue, but we are really called to shine our light, save souls, evangelize, give hope. Those are the things that I am literally on this earth to do in this moment. So I have to ask God to use me because I don't leave the house much. I hope.
I'm not in these streets.
I mean, like, sometimes I'm with these truths, but not that much.
I like the honesty and the transparency of I want guys like to shine through me, but we come back to what the foundation is. Like we're here to evangelize, save souls, and things like that. We just have this talent to get people to that can happen. What
Like, I want a now result type of thing of marketing. Marketing isn't a 30 day, a 60 day, a 90 day money back guarantee.
Mhm.
Infomercial.
It's not.
Well, I think that is one of the things, and I think that, yeah, I think that's one of the things that just like really just bothers me is I think sometimes people come and go into business like, and I think may have gotten and gone into business and as we think it's just this one thing, but it's really like a overarching,
Mhm.
it's a city. And we try to take like this, oh, I'm gonna spend $10,000 and I'm gonna make $1 million.
If only. If only.
I think that we don't go into marketing with understanding the principles and just educating ourselves. One of the things is like sometimes I want to leave marketing, but I see so many people getting burnt in marketing just because
Yeah.
I had the knowledge or the understanding. And
The patience.
yeah, more patience, but it's definitely come back to knowledge. Like there's not enough knowledge. There's not enough people educating themselves.
Do you feel people aren't taking the responsibility to educate themselves because of how quick everybody is telling them that they can get it?
I think it could be a little bit of both laziness.
Mm.
And because one of the things that come to mind is like when I first started my business, I had to educate myself. And it wasn't as accessible as it is now where I could just show up on time and, Candace is going to teach me how to make $60,000 in 30 days. That wasn't a thing. People gave offers like that, but I think that they also, when you got into the webinar, you seen, oh, this took 9 months to do. Ooh, this took 24 months to do.
Yeah.
These didn't start with $10,000 in 24. But like, what a screenshot of a stand for, or back then it was Stripe accounts.
Yeah.
I think that there's so much accessibility and maybe people are getting overwhelmed.
I think that I agree with both of us. I definitely think, I don't say this to be mean, but I definitely think people are lazy because it's so much information that they're like, oh, I'll get it when I get it. And I think the reason why people don't want to self-educate themselves because they don't want to be honest with themselves. That this may take a little bit longer than I thought. And just because she's doing so great in her business, you also don't know like how long it took, some hurdles that she overcame, and how you mentioned before, how divine favor played a big part of a lot of these pieces. If you had to, you're a marketing mentor, if you had gotten the opportunity to mentor, let's say 10 African-American women, they were around age of 22. What's the first thing you would tell them if they were like, Alyssa, I want to launch a business. We know you have the ability to help us. What would be the first thing you tell them to do?
Hone in on your skill. That was the best thing. I've just caught myself gotten used to like being a mentor or realizing people like look up to me in their way. Outside of that, they say it take maybe, I'm going to say 250 hours before you become an expert. No, I probably put in 2,000 hours. Can't nobody tell me. I think Nas say that. Nas be like, you got a skill, you can make any type of money. Like, it's like, I have a skill. I could go into any business, any field that I want to. And I don't have to necessarily start from the bottom. Like, entry is not. One of the things is that I don't have a degree. Like, I don't have this stuff that I know. I probably run circles around people who got master degrees and building businesses and stuff. But this stuff that I know is because I honed in on my skill.
And like you actually are living this stuff. You didn't buy a 30-day course and become a marketing mentor. Like you actually put you put work into it. So it's amazing. I'm so happy because I used to always tell people like I don't have a degree, and they would look at first when I was doing strictly fitness, like, but how can you help people? And then I would just show them like I've helped so many people get their results, not bragging, but it just shows you that self-education is still a thing.
Yeah. I don't think we ever stop. And there is no indictment to people who do have degrees, right?
No,
The thing is like, if you have a degree, you still have to still learn.
because things change. Things change.
Yeah.
So our last part is we ask you a couple questions. They have nothing to do about mentoring and marketing. They're just rapid fire off the wall questions. You ready? All right. If Alyssa could live anywhere in the world for 30 days, no money limit, where would she live?
You- Okay. I probably would go. I probably go to South Africa, like real luxury South Africa,
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Not,
like luxury, like penthouse, no money limit. Oh yeah, I'm going crazy.
I love it. I love it. Alyssa's favorite movie.
It's probably a bad one, but Wolf of Wall Street. That telling you conversation Wolf of Wall Street.
I was thinking maybe she has to like Scarface or The Godfather. Okay, I was waiting. I was like, it's gonna be The Godfather. It's a mob movie. Okay, no limit, unlimited gas. What kind of car would you drive?
I'm not. I'm getting a driver. I'm not. I'm getting a driver. We can't be in a bulk mobile, but I want a driver.
Pays the money over to the driver. It could be any car. It's just
Or he want. Or she want.
long as it's a driver. All right. You're given $10 million to do whatever you want to, but it has to be something business wise. What would you do?
Open a school.
What kind?
Middle and high school.
I like. Where's that come from?
That's my second career.
That is?
Yeah, that's gonna be my second career. My third career.
You got to teach in it too?
All right.
Okay, so the establishment, but you're not going to teach in it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my rich friends like you to donate it.
I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. Okay, you can meet anybody in the Bible. Who would you meet?
I can just say Hannah because I've been studying her a lot lately.
One of my favorite stories.
Yeah, I would say Hannah, like, girl, I'm a little scared to talk to you, but his faith was crazy.
He beyond crazy.
I don't know if I want faith with you.
I don't need that. I'll be like, I'll learn from yours. I'll learn from yours. Last two, you could be any superhero in the world. Who would you be?
All right, so I'm really bad at this one because
Okay.
I don't watch superhero movies. I'm a
I've,
Superman, eyes can't see through the wall or something like
yeah,
that. What?
I'm not a big superhero person either. They're good. You're good. Last one. If Alyssa could leave a message to the world, what would that message be?
What was the message be? I would say fail faster. Don't be afraid to fail fast. Don't be afraid to show up as your authentic self and believe in yourself.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, you guys who we'll make sure we'll plug in her contact information. Alyssa, how could people follow you?
My marketing John everywhere or Alyssa Kwan. I'm trying to work on my LinkedIn, so come over and see me on LinkedIn over there.
There you go.
That's my new domain. Alyssa Swine's on LinkedIn.
I love it. I love it. Now, you guys probably won't be able to see this by time this episode gets out, but she has an event coming out It's happening tonight, Tuesday at 8 p.m. What I'll do is I'll make sure I put something in my Instagram so you guys can go sign up and learn from her because she's giving some priceless, priceless information over there. Alyssa, this was fun. I learned a lot about you and from you. I'm sure the audience did too. I'm stuck now forever on, I don't want a car. I want a driver.
No, you need a driver.
A driver. That's next level.
When your wife around though, right?
I do. I would go ahead and backseat it for a driver. I would backseat it for a driver any day. Any day. But Alyssa, thank you for coming. We'll talk again soon. Have a good one.
Thank you.